KCPQ.
The Tacoma Sportsman Club offers classes for hunters under 18 years of age. Students will receive a hunter's education card, which is required by law. Call 537-6151.
Why call a crowded party line when you can talk one-on-one? Call 1-900-990-1-on-1. Talk to people from all over America. It's new, it's live, and it's one-on-one. Just $2 a minute. 1-900-990-1-on-1. Choose your fun. Call one-on-one. 1-900-990-1-on-1. You select other callers from your touch-tone phone. It's new, it's live, and it's one-on-one. Just $2 a minute. 1-900-990-1-on-1. Call now.
Is there any way to get a car loan with bad credit or bankruptcy? There is. The Auto Loan Store can help almost anyone. Call 206-767-CARS, and our program will help you get your car loan right away. If you're tired of being turned down, call now. The Auto Loan Store will answer your call 24 hours daily, 7 days a week. Call 206-767-CARS. If busy, keep trying. Call now. 206-767-CARS.
On our next current affair, Hollywood's most scandalous.
This is Crime Stoppers 800. From Fairfax County, Virginia, police are looking for clues in the December 1988 slaying of a young couple. Florida authorities are looking for 3 men involved in an armored car robbery. The loot was too heavy for them to carry, so they left empty-handed, but they have pulled other armored car stick-ups. Columbus, Ohio police need help solving a double killing. Murdered were the daughter and grandson of a city policeman. You can help solve these cases and put those responsible behind bars.
I'm Edwin Hart, Crime Stoppers 800.
And I'm Officer Margie Adillo with San Jose Crime Prevention Unit and Crime Stoppers in San Jose, California.
On this edition of Crime Stoppers 800, we have crimes but no suspects. Police have put hundreds or even thousands of hours into these cases. We call them whodunits. So far, no suspects have been identified. We're hoping that some one of you perhaps saw or heard something that will help solve these crimes.
Our case number 1 is from Fairfax County Crime Solvers in Virginia.
A young man and young woman were brutally murdered in Fairfax County. Their car was then found in New York. These streets in the vicinity of the George Washington University campus in Washington, D.C. were very familiar to Rachel Raver and Warren Fulton. Rachel had just graduated, and Warren was a senior. He was on the college baseball team, and she had played volleyball. Both Warren and Rachel were 22 and excited about the futures that awaited them. But their lives were cut short on Saturday, December 4th, 1988, when they were abducted and killed.
Okay, it was a Tuesday morning on December 6th of 1988. The caretaker of the property at Hunter Mill Road was walking the property looking for vandals, damages, trespassers, and he came across Rachel's body.
Police say that Rachel Raver was also sexually assaulted. The young couple had last been seen leaving a popular Washington club late Saturday night. Police theorized that the couple was abducted as they returned to Rachel's car. 2 days later, the vehicle turned up in Jamaica, Queens, New York. But the discovery of the brown 1978 Toyota came before the bodies were found, and so the car was not listed as wanted at the time. It was 2 months before an overdue parking ticket notice led Fairfax police to the scene. By then, the car had been gutted, and no evidence of the killer or killers remained. Police are looking for a lead either in New York or in the Washington, Virginia area.
The only motive the police could come up with is it was probably somebody that either lives in New York City and comes down to D.C., possibly dealing in drugs, bringing them and selling them in the Washington area, since the vehicle was immediately driven back up to New York City right after the murders occurred.
Family and friends of the murder victims say that they were a clean-living, all-American young couple. Warren, who grew up in the Salvation Army family, was a loving and responsible person.
He never came home that night, and so the next morning his parents came on to church, but they knew something was wrong because it was not like him not to call and say, I'm not coming home, I'm spending the night with a friend or whatever. He would always let them know where he was.
Rachel had grown up an outgoing, fun-loving girl who was never rude, would never hurt anyone.
I can't really rationalize it because, I mean, the only thing that I can come up with is they must have walked in on something. They must have walked by at the wrong time or something. It just, it had to have been some weird quirk of fate because they would never, ever, ever have been involved with drugs.
Police say that the murder weapon, a handgun, has never been found. Their only lead on the killer is crime scene evidence that he was a black man. If you have any information about who may have robbed and murdered Warren Fulton and Rachel Raber on December 4th, 1988, please call Crime Stoppers 800 now. And the number is 1-800-922-9999. You must remember again that this is case number 1. Then your call will go directly to the Fairfax County Crime Solvers in Virginia.
The Fairfax County Crime Solvers program began in November of 1979. Cases solved there total over 1,200. More than $100,000 in rewards have been paid out.
A few weeks ago on Crime Stoppers 800, you saw the story of a man wanted in Houston for kidnapping his children. A short time after that broadcast, he was taken into custody. We now have an update.
Stephen Ray Dodd was wanted for kidnapping his young son and daughter. In October 1985, he abducted them from his ex-wife's Houston home after picking them up for a weekend visit. Dodd had been on the run with the 2 children ever since. In February of this year, we broadcast his story. Update: Stephen Ray Dodd was arrested in Mobile, Alabama, just 2 weeks after that show aired. His arrest was the direct result of a tip from a Crime Stoppers 800 viewer. Dodd, who was extradited back to Houston on March 9th, faces a number of federal charges in addition to the kidnapping charges. The children have been reunited with their mother.
We'll show you how a Tampa, Florida television station got involved with Crime Stoppers when Crime Stoppers 800 comes back.
If you're concerned about getting rid of weeds this way, try a better way. I'm Jim Martindale, here to introduce you to the Weed Popper. Place the Weed Popper next to a weed, step down, and the weed pops right out. The Weed Popper pulls weeds without kneeling, bending, and without chemicals that may be dangerous to our groundwater supply. The Weed Popper, with its 100% lifetime guarantee, pops weeds out as easy as 1, 2, 3.
The Weed Popper is available at participating Kmart, True Value, Ace, Walgreens, Service Star, and HWI hardware stores. Makes a great gift for friends who garden.
Remember me, Kim Fields, when being overweight was a fact of life? For years I tried to lose the weight and I couldn't until I tried the Ultra Slim Fast plan. And look, I lost 25 pounds in 5 months. The shakes are amazing, delicious, and filling. I have one for breakfast, another for lunch, and still enjoy a great dinner. Now with Ultra Slim Fast, being thin is a fact of life.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight. Sherry Hart thought she was just going for a cruise with some old hometown friends. But Richard Lynn Bear had a different idea. When Sherry rebuffed Bear's advances, police say he murdered her. Bear was last seen in Wilkes County, North Carolina. Get the clues to help find him. Watch America's Most Wanted Sunday.
Discover bargains galore at the American Cancer Society Discovery Shops in Tacoma, Kent, and Bremerton. Call 283-1152.
Why call a crowded party line when you can talk one-on-one? Call 1-900-990-1-on-1. Talk to people from all over America. It's new, it's live, and it's one-on-one. Just $2 a minute. 1-900-990-1-on-1. Choose your fun. Call one-on-one. 1-900-990-1-on-1. You select other callers from your touch-tone phone. It's new, it's live, and it's one-on-one. Just $2 a minute. 1-900-990-1-on-1. Call now.
Every Crime Stopper unit across the country has its own policies and procedures.
But the formula for success is the same everywhere. Business people, the media, and police working together to solve crimes.
Dozens of television stations participate by broadcasting local Crime Stoppers reenactments in their news or as public service announcements. WTVT in Tampa, Florida thought it was a good idea, but Tampa had no Crime Stoppers units. So the television station helped start one.
The Tampa Bay area here in west central Florida, with a population of close to 2 million people, has a continuing problem, one that's growing day by day. It's crime. A dilemma that requires more than just the hard work of police and sheriff's deputies. That's one reason people who live here have seen Crime Stopper reports on Tampa's WTVT Channel 13. The reports and reenactments, like this one of a video store robbery, are produced by Jim Hooper.
I wasn't watching. Were these folks not talking just a minute ago loud to you on that sound? No. Let's do What we do is we take video with our photographer Jim Craven. We go in and shoot different sequences of the crime and shoot it in such a way that we can come back and write the narrative to show that, and then Frank Robertson, our director, will audio track it and we'll edit it for air.
Crime Stoppers is working because of the commitment of news director Bob Franklin.
Crime is a problem in Florida. More specifically, it's a problem in Tampa. More specifically, the Tampa Bay area. We felt that we needed to go beyond just reporting the problems in this community, and I had watched Crime Stoppers work successfully for 10+ years in Houston, Texas, and quite frankly, I stole it.
Crime Stoppers involves the media and law enforcement agencies. The tip line here at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Headquarters receives 500 calls a month.
Okay, on this guy, we'll do anything with it overnight?
Yes, we call Tampa Police.
How does Crime Stoppers actually work? Well, when a call is received here at the Sheriff's Department, it is logged with the date, the time, and a brief summary of the caller's description.
Crime Stoppers is telling the criminal, if you want to commit a crime, then we're going to get you.
Crime Stoppers is a non-profit organization which links law enforcement agencies, the media, and the community through a board of directors.
We'll get there sooner or later. The community is far more involved. We're only about 1.5 years old with our Crime Stoppers program, and they're far more involved today than they were at the beginning, and I think it's because they're aware of it. We can tell by the number of rewards that we've been distributing lately.
A question you might be asking, who actually benefits from Crime Stoppers? Well, by reducing crime in the area, everyone benefits. Everyone, of course, except the criminal. In Tampa, Florida, Jack Burns, Crime Stoppers 800.
Already, West Central Florida Crime Stoppers in Tampa has paid out more than $12,000 in rewards.
In San Jose, California, the Crime Stoppers program is coordinated through the police department's Crime Prevention Unit. Officer Margie Adillo is part of that unit and a member of the Crime Stoppers team. Now, Marge, I know that you've got 17 men and women in the Crime Prevention Unit for all the programs put together. Crime Stoppers is one. How does the whole thing work as part of the team?
What we do is we all have different jobs, and what we'll do is if there's different areas, like we have neighborhood watch programs and things like this, there'll be an officer that'll go out and make the presentation with someone else in the office. And we do drug awareness talks and things like this.
And you work in connection with a television station in San Jose on the Crime Stoppers program itself.
Right.
About how many calls would you get in a month?
In a month, we're looking at probably around 200 calls.
So that keeps you pretty busy and pretty active.
That's true.
A very successful program and a very successful story for Crime Stoppers in San Jose. Back to Florida for an armed robbery case when Crime Stoppers 800 continues.
Sunday, go camping with the Simpsons.
Don't worry, I'm an experienced woodsman. Get him off me! Get him off me!
The Simpsons in the great outdoors. Then, Al's asked to judge a beauty pageant.
Will you do it, please?
Hundreds of beautiful women will be hungering after me.
But is the joke on Al?
Let the games begin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Bring on the babes!
See Al Bundy's worst nightmare on Married with Children right after The Simpsons Sunday.
Hi, I'm Jim Martindale, here to tell you about one of a gardener's most trusted tools, the one and only Garden Weasel, used by millions of gardeners throughout the U.S. and the world. It's a 5-in-1 tool that makes gardening fun and easy. The Garden Weasel's 3 rotary blades mesh with a scissor action, breaking up the topsoil. They uproot young weeds before they get a start and mix the leaves into the soil, and that's a mulch, and that's beneficial to your garden. The Weasel cultivates to a uniform 2-inch depth, protecting your plant's roots. Remove the center blade for cultivating around seedling rows and young bedding plants and vegetables. Insert the short handle, and the Weasel is perfect for plant boxes and greenhouses. The Garden Weasel is made of a rust-free alloy. Virtually self-cleaning, simply hose it off and allow it to dry. There's only one Garden Weasel, and it's backed by a 100% lifetime guarantee.
The Garden Weasel is available at participating Kmart, True Value, Ace, Service Star, Walgreens, HWI, V&S Variety, and Century Hardware stores. Makes a great gift for friends who garden.
Sometimes we all need a friend to talk to.
And now there's a phone number for you to call when you need to talk to that certain someone.
Anytime, 24 hours a day. Perhaps you're looking for advice or a woman's point of view. Or maybe you just need to hear a soft, smiling voice. This is one-to-one conversation, and it's live. Let me be your friend on the other end.
$2.49 per minute.
Finding a job can be frustrating if you don't know where to look. Heritage Personnel needs qualified applicants for positions in the restaurant and hotel field. We have immediate openings available for responsible, hard-working people. Heritage Personnel is a leader in the hospitality industry. Most of our positions are not advertised. Employers hire us to find you, so you pay no fees for our services. If you need a job or are looking for a career advancement, let us job search for you. Call Heritage Personnel at 453-2383.
Over the past 13 years, Crime Stoppers worldwide have solved more than 250,000 crimes. Greater Cincinnati Crime Stoppers were trying to locate the man in this photograph. They believed he was responsible for a string of recent robberies in downtown Cincinnati. In one incident, 2 women were ambushed as they walked down the street late at night. The suspect jumped out at the women and threatened them with a knife. He managed to get one woman's purse away from her. The other refused to give hers up, and their attacker fled in a late-model Cadillac. WKRC-TV aired a reenactment of the purse snatching, along with these pictures of the suspect. They were taken by a security camera at an ATM. Shortly after the robbery, the suspect tried to get money from the ATM using a credit card from the purse he'd just stolen. WKRC aired the reenactment, along with a story about the robberies during their local news. Within 20 minutes of the broadcast, someone had phoned in a tip that led police to the man they were seeking. Case closed. Crime Stoppers, thanks to you, it works.
Case number 2 is from the Treasure Coast Crime Stoppers in Florida. Wells Fargo has been a target for robbers since the stagecoach days. The stages have now been replaced by armored cars.
The pace of life is relaxed in Stuart, a small town on Florida's east coast. It's a great place to take it easy. But things were not so easy for 3 men who attempted an armed robbery there on December 20th, 1989. A Wells Fargo armored truck was making a delivery to the American Bank on East Ocean Boulevard. As 2 guards were unloading coins, a white 1981 Dodge van backed up to the truck. 2 masked men armed with shotguns forced the guards to the ground, but for the bandits, things started to go wrong.
At this point, the driver, who's still in the truck, looked in his rearview mirror and saw the one robber with a shotgun and knew something wasn't right, and he just put it in drive and drove off with the money. And the only thing that was left at the scene was coins. There were racks of $1,000 worth of quarters.
The coins were too heavy to carry. Before the gang drove off empty-handed, they made sure the guards could cause them no trouble.
They used a stun gun like we use in police work, and what that does is temporarily incapacitates you, keeps you from moving. It makes your muscles go completely relaxed, and so they were not physically hurt, but for probably about 15 minutes they could not really move around that well.
Moments after the crime, the getaway van was found abandoned in a parking lot a few blocks away. The men carrying trash cans ran off along St. Lucie Boulevard.
And there's witnesses stating they saw 3 men running from the van carrying garbage cans, and the one said something was sticking out of the garbage cans. He didn't know it was a fishing rod or what. We believe that might have been a shotgun.
Detectives do not know if the men ran down to the waterfront and escaped by boat, or if they had another car waiting. Stuart is just a few miles from Interstate 95. The van used in the robbery attempt had been bought in Stuart just a week before. Police have issued an artist's sketch of the buyer. Detectives believe this crime could be linked with others, including a robbery at West Palm Beach and another which happened that same day in Bradenton, just a few hours after the crime in Stuart. Police fear these men will strike again, and the next time, somebody could get hurt.
Yes, I think they could be very dangerous, and investigating the other ones throughout the country, there's been one occasion where two guards were shot in the head with .22 caliber handguns, and their money was stolen. So it is a very dangerous type situation.
Matt James for Crime Stoppers 800.
If you have any information about the holdup in Stuart, Florida on December 20th, 1989, please call Crime Stoppers 800 at 1-800-922-9999 now. And you must remember that this is case number 2. If you do, your call will be directed to the Treasure Coast Crime Stoppers in Florida.
Treasure Coast Crime Stoppers in Florida has been in operation since August of 1986. They've taken nearly 2,000 calls. The results have been 261 arrests and 262 cases solved.
Case number 3 from Columbus, Ohio, when Crime Stoppers 800 continues.
When this was Grandfather's desk, every week I'd help Grandma polish it with Pledge. I'd spray, she'd wipe, and together we'd bring out its beautiful shine. Now that the desk is mine, I use touchable Pledge, so even smears just disappear.
Pledge, still shining after over 30 years with no buildup. And with new touchable Pledge, smears just disappear.
Grandma's gonna love it.
New touchable Pledge, still no buildup, new touchable shine.
This used to be me, can you believe it? I want you to see the overweight me that I used to be. I'm Mel Torme, and I lost 35 pounds in 8 months, thanks to Ultra Slim Fast. The plan is easy. Just have 2 chocolate shakes daily and a well-balanced dinner. I tell you, Ultra Slim Fast Chocolate Royale is a weight loser's delight and a chocolate lover's dream. Shadoobity, I kinda like the new me.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
The Puget Consumers Co-op in West Seattle offers cooking classes with fun ideas for planning fast and nutritious summer meals. Call 547-1222.
Looking to buy or sell a home? Northwest Real Estate Preview is the show for you. Every Sunday morning at 9, you'll have a chance to view the best real estate listings in the area, and all in the comfort of your own home. Join us for Northwest Real Estate Preview, Sunday morning at 9, here on KCPQ.
He's bad.
Listen to me, you sawed-off little runt.
He's back.
He's tall, isn't he?
He's Clint Eastwood.
And he's a pig.
Clint Eastwood begins Tuesday.
Seems just like old times.
On KCPQ 13 Fox. The Terror of Jaws returns. Jaws 3, Sunday.
Crime Stoppers 800 case number 3 today is a Columbus, Ohio murder case. A young woman and her nephew never returned from a shopping trip.
The date was November 12, 1980. 23-year-old Lynn Vest was babysitting for her 2-year-old nephew, Jeremy Pickens, when she decided to go to the bank. Telling her husband where she was headed, she left her own baby at home with him and took her nephew with her. She planned to be home for lunch. They got into her dark blue Mustang and drove to a nearby shopping center. Police say it was here, in the suburb of Whitehall, that Lynn Vest did her banking at a drive-in window. It was after that something went terribly wrong. Police believe Mrs. Vest may have driven to a nearby store, but nobody knows for sure. At 11 o'clock that night, both bodies were found under a blanket in the trunk of her car in a high-crime neighborhood 10 miles away. Mrs. Vest had been strangled. Jeremy had been suffocated. In the 10 years since the crime, police have been unable to come up with any solid leads.
A lot of times people are afraid to get involved, and they think that their information is not important, that we will go ahead and through evidence link the suspect anyway. But we don't have the evidence.
A few items were never recovered. Wedding rings with no inscription, a key ring, and credit cards.
You know, if they know where these rings, the key ring, the credit cards are, we would like to know, because then we can trace it back to where it came from, who would be the killer.
Ironically, the man who's the father of one victim and the grandfather of the other is a detective in the Columbus Police Department. He knows all too well that hard work has brought no results.
From what I understand, that we're going to need some type of eyewitness or some admissions from somebody to another person. This is where it stands now, from what I understand.
Lynn's baby Shane was a year old when she died. He's 11 now.
He's a good kid.
I think any parent or any kid would have liked to know their parent.
After 10 years, Jeremy's parents, who are now divorced, are still not completely resigned to the death of their son.
A day doesn't go by that I don't think about him. I see other little kids. I have little kids now. I just think how he was and how he could be. When you go into a restaurant and you see a little child and his name's Jeremy, it's the only one I think of is mine.
I want to know why, and my sister why. And she's the most loving person. I just don't understand. I just wish somebody would say something and tell who did it, because somebody had to have seen something.
In Columbus, Ohio, Barbara Hamilton, Crime Stoppers 800.
If you saw Lynn Vest or her nephew Jeremy on November 12, 1980, or if you saw her blue 1979 Mustang Cobra, you may have information that could help police solve this baffling case. Please call Crime Stoppers 800 now at 1-800-922-9999. And remember, this is case number 3.
Columbus Crime Solvers Anonymous was established in the Ohio Capitol in 1977.
Statistics for the past 2.5 years show that 40 felony cases have been solved there. More than $10,000 in rewards have been paid out. It's time now to review the cases that we've seen on this edition of Crime Stoppers 800.
Case number 1 is from Fairfax County, Virginia Crime Solvers in the Washington, D.C. area. Sometime after midnight on December 4th, 1988, 22-year-old Warren Fulton III and 22-year-old Rachel Raver were robbed and murdered after they left a popular night spot near George Washington University. The young woman was raped. Their bodies were found 2 days later on an abandoned farm near Reston, Virginia. Rachel Raver's car was found 3 months later in Jamaica, Queens, New York City. It provided no clues because it had been stripped and burned. If you have any information about the murders of Fulton and Raver, please call Crime Stoppers 800 at 1-800-922-9999. This is case number 1. Your call will go directly to Fairfax County Crime Solvers in Virginia. Case number 2 from Stuart, Florida involves the December 1989 robbery of a Wells Fargo armored car. 3 men stopped the truck at the American Bank on East Ocean Boulevard. When they found the loot to be only coins and too heavy to carry, the 3 fled. Their white van was found 2 blocks from the crime scene. The 3 were last seen on foot. Police believe the trio may have been involved in other armored car stick-ups in the Florida area. Suspect number 1 is a white man in his late 30s with dark brown or black hair and a tan. The other suspects are also white males. All 3 wore T-shirts and jeans. If you have any information about these armored car bandits, please call Crime Stoppers 800 at 1-800-922-9999. This is case number 2. Your call and your information will go directly to the Treasure Coast Crime Stoppers in Florida. Your information could qualify you for a Crime Stoppers reward of up to $1,000. Case number 3 is a double murder that occurred in Columbus, Ohio on November 12, 1980. 23-year-old Lynn Vest was babysitting her 2-year-old nephew, Jeremy Pickens. They went shopping and never returned. Their bodies were found in the trunk of Miss Vest's car on East Main Street in Columbus. She'd been robbed and strangled. The child had been suffocated. The victims were the daughter and grandson of a Columbus policeman. If you have any information that will help police identify the killer or killers, please call Crime Stoppers 800 at 1-800-922-9999. This is case number 3. When you call the toll-free Crime Stoppers 800 number, you'll be connected directly with Columbus Crime Solvers Anonymous in Ohio.
That's all for this edition of Crime Stoppers 800.
Our thanks to Officer Margie Udillo for being part of the Crime Stoppers team and for being here with us to represent the San Jose, California Police Department. Until the next time, if you see or know about crimes in your community, call your local Crime Stoppers number or your local police. And if you don't have a Crime Stoppers program and you'd like to get one started, you can call Crime Stoppers International at 1-800-245-0009. 1-800-245-0009. They'll see to it that you get all the information you need to get started. See you next time on Crime Stoppers 800.
Vanna White is letter perfect. Catch an exclusive interview of her on the Arsenio Hall Show, Tuesday at 10, here on KCPQ 13 Fox.
You're watching the Northwest's own Fox station, Q13, KCPQ.